That is so, that was so, so, my heart's just going, thank you. Um, sorry. Yesterday was my mom's birthday. She would have been 93. And I want to start with a little poem. I didn't write it. Somebody who also follows their heart wrote it. And I'm going to take that poem into a brief little meditation prayer thing. So if you want to close your eyes, if you want to get comfy, if you want to let Mother Earth just sort of cradle you wherever you are and just feel the sense of your own breath flowing through you. And I'm just going to do a moment of the rain stick. And you can imagine that's all the cells of your body just sort of resting into Mother Earth. Mother, you wait for me in the indigo twilight when the first star, wishing star, begins to twinkle in the sky. I wait for you in the indigo twilight, ready to sing the star song, ready to say the wishing poem, longing to know the warmth of leaning into you. I can feel the notes of the song humming up from deep inside you, humming us back together, two hearts beating, warm in the wide world. You wished for me on the star long ago, before I was born, you said, and I wish for you now that you know the vast peace of the heavens, that starlight guides your way. Mm. And as you are sitting there, you could imagine being back, way, way back, after you were first conceived, and how you were in the warmest, most loving place imaginable, there in the womb with layers of warmth and protection around you, and bathed in this warm amniotic fluid that's just continuously bathing you and massaging you. And there, your innate intelligence knows just what to do because all of the nourishment and the oxygen that you need are flowing in directly into your body. And your innate intelligence knows how to become muscle and bone and skin and nervous system and organs and all the parts that are you. You don't have to do it. Your innate intelligence just does it while you are bathed in this love. And know that you are on this journey already, but that once you are born, this journey, it becomes a different, has a different quality to it. It is not only growth, but learning. It's a path of learning. And that learning means it has to be trial and error. There's no other way to learn. And that means that you will learn by some of the errors. It means it's all right. to make errors. It means that's just part of the journey. And so there's this feeling of deep acceptance for yourself on this journey. And that you get to water the seeds of love in yourself. You have all the seeds there, and you get to water these seeds on this journey. And as you are watering the seeds of love in yourself, that gives you the capacity to water the seeds of love in the people around you. And that is a blessed gift. That is spirituality at its deepest and its finest. And that is who you are. So, as you let a breath flow through you, taking this all in, integrating it in all the levels, you can let yourself come back into the space you are. Or if you want to stay and just bask in it longer, you can. Either way. But I'm going to talk about what it means to follow your heart and how that is the spiritual path. And I want to first clear up something that I think gets us confused sometimes. And that is that sometimes we think that certain activities, certain things are spiritual and other things are not. And I'm going to say that's a false dichotomy. To say this is spiritual, this is political, this is spiritual, this is social. I think that's a false dichotomy. I think being spiritual and following your heart is a way of relating to the world, of experiencing it and relating to it as a path, as that is something I want to do in the world. I want to relate to it as a spiritual path, but also in every moment is that opportunity. Every moment you can choose to respond in a spiritual way. So you can be in church, but not be being spiritual. You could be just walking down the street. You could be in the grocery store. You could be in a protest or a rally, and you can be very spiritual. And I'm going to say to be fully spiritual means to follow your heart, your truth, to stand in your integrity with you, with yourself, and with spirit. And I'm going to name that oneness. Being in integrity. That is that oneness. So I want to quote a few of my favorite spiritual leaders. One is O Sensei, the founder of Aikido. And he said, first, make God's heart your heart. Just take that in for a moment. Make God's heart your heart. And then I'm going to quote the little Teresa. Teresa, she's French, and I don't know how you pronounce Lisieux, but something like that. Teresa Lisieux. She was small and frail. She was a nun. She knew she couldn't do big, spectacular, monumental things, but she realized she could do small things with great love. And every one of us, that is our opportunity to do small things with great love. That's what everybody has the opportunity to do. And I'm going to quote Jesus. Jesus. Jesus said, whatever you do to the least of these, you do to me. And what that meant is that And that's from Matthew. When you help those most in need, those who may be marginalized, those most in need, you are serving Jesus yourself. You are you are walking in Jesus's footsteps. So, you may ask yourself from time to time, what is mine to do? What is mine to do? And sometimes the universe chooses for you and it plops things down right in front of you. And they may be good things or they may be difficult things. So, for example, the universe, when I was visiting Jasmine in Hawaii, I won an ukulele at a raffle. And I decided the universe was saying, excuse me, you need to learn to play this. And so I did. I've been playing it for now, I don't know, 10, 12 years. And I realized I have my grandmother's ukulele, her Martin ukulele, and I have my dad's banjo ukulele that he never learned to play. So I feel like, ooh, I'm sending back this like ukulele-ness all the way back. But I don't feel like I chose it. The universe just said, boom. And I didn't set out to be the president of the Alameda Island Poets. Mary Rudge, our former poet laureate of first poet laureate of Alameda, said, "Okay, you and Nanette are going to be vice presidents." And when she stepped down, she said, "Okay, you're going to be the president." And I said, "Oh no!" And she said, "Oh yes," and I am. So sometimes the universe just hands you something. Now, my Aikido sensei and conscious embodiment instructor, Wendy, used to say, when the universe serves you something, you don't go, I didn't order that. You don't go, I didn't order that. No, take that back. Because you know where it'll end up? Right in your face. So when the universe offers, it would be nice if you could go, oh, thank you. Don't mind if I do. Um, so I want to read you something about all this that some of us are following these days about being called to do something. Heather Cox Richardson, and she is somebody that gives out a message every day. She is a history professor. She lives in Maine, and she is so full of history, the knowledge of U.S. history, but also she has a sense of wisdom about her. She connects the history to now. So here's in her words, and this is something that I just went whoa. She says, "You hear sometimes now that we know the sordid details of the lives of some of our leading figures that America has no heroes left." She says, "When I was writing a book about the Wounded Knee Massacre, where heroism was pretty thin on the ground, I gave that a lot of thought. And I came to believe that heroism is neither being perfect nor doing something spectacular. In fact, it's just the opposite. It's regular, flawed human beings choosing to put others before themselves, even at great cost, even if no one will ever know, even as they realize the walls might be closing in around them. It means sitting down the night before D-Day and writing a letter praising the troops and taking all the blame for the next day's failure upon yourself in case things went wrong, as General Dwight D. Eisenhower did. It means writing in your diary that you still believe that people are really good at heart, even while you're hiding in the attic from men who are soon going to kill you, as Anne Frank did. It means signing your name to the bottom of the Declaration of Independence in bold print, even though you know you are signing your own death warrant should the British capture you, as John Hancock did. It means defending your people's right to practice a religion you don't even share, even though you know you are becoming a dangerously visible target, as Sitting Bull did. Sometimes It just means sitting down, even when you are told to stand up, as Rosa Parks did. None of those people woke up one morning and said to themselves that they were about to do something heroic. It's just what they had to do, and they did what was right. So this month is Black History Month, and we have just celebrated Martin Luther King Jr.'s birthday. So even though I debated very strongly on how to put this, how to refer to this person, I said, even though the current man in the White House says that we are no longer honoring DEI, Black History, Native American Heritage Month, Women's Month, LGBTQ, or whatever, all these different things, we can still choose to honor those things. And I want to read you something else Heather said about that. Oops. She said that on April 3rd, 1968, the night before Reverend Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. was assassinated by a white supremacist, he gave a speech in support of sanitation workers in Memphis, Tennessee. Since 1966, King had tried to broaden the civil rights movement for racial equality into a larger movement for economic justice. He joined those sanitation workers in Memphis who were on strike after years of bad pay and such dangerous conditions that two men had been crushed to death in garbage compactors. And after his friend, Ralph Abernathy, introduced him to the crowd, King said something to say about heroes. He said, as I listened to Ralph Abernathy and his eloquent and generous introduction, and then thought about myself, I wondered who he was talking about. Dr. King told the audience that if God had let him choose any era in which to live, he would have chosen the one in which he landed. He said, now that's a strange statement to make because the world is all messed up. The nation's sick, trouble in the land, confusion all around. But I know somehow that only when it is dark enough can you see the stars. He said he felt blessed to live in an era where people have finally woken up and were working together for freedom and economic justice. He knew he was in danger as he worked for a racially and economically just America. And he said, I don't know what will happen now. We've got some difficult days ahead, but it doesn't matter because I've been to the mountaintop. Like anybody, I would like to live a long life, but I'm not concerned with that now. I just want to do God's will. And he's allowed me to go up to the mountain. And I've looked over and I've seen the promised land. I may not get there with you, but I want you to know tonight that we as a people will get to the promised land. So, Heather says, people are wrong to say that we have no heroes left. Just as they have always been, they are all around us, choosing to do the right thing no matter what. And that's you guys. That's us. That's us. We are the ones who can do such a thing. And so I know that many people here have been doing small things with great love. And I'm going to call some of those out right now. So there's somebody. Oh, gosh, did he leave? Oh, no, there he is. There he is. There he is. Okay. There's somebody who, after his roommate passed on and went across that rainbow bridge, who cleaned up her whole apartment and took on her dog, Bruno. And that's David Freitag. And that's Bruno right there. That's Bruno right there. Bruno, we love you. We love you, David. Yeah. No matter what the song says, we do talk about Bruno here. That's right. No matter what. Yes. Now, there's somebody who has been a very true blue friend. Actually, there's two who have been true blue friends. One to his best friend, who also crossed the Rainbow Bridge recently. Um, but David Hatch was there for his friend day after day and just praying for him and caring to be with him. And the other person, true blue friend, is Randall. And I've talked about it the last 3 weeks how amazed I am at how much love you have given Vicky. It's so, it's just a blessing to all of us. And I think each heroic act is a blessing to all of us. Now, there's some people, one who's here and one who is off dog sitting right now, who helped get another dog who was going over the Rainbow Bridge. We have a lot of rainbow bridges here. Oh, I love those bridges. Okay. Um, who came and stepped in that moment where David Hatch didn't know what to do. And his dog was in dire straits and he didn't know what to do. And Nancy, Reverend Nancy Joy, and Barbara Sneathen came and supported him and supported Lila and got her where she needed to be. Um, and there's somebody here who had a roommate who was going through quite a few health issues, IKEA, and Marilyn Flower helped her, oh my gosh, days, weeks, months, a long time, doing whatever it took to help IKEA regain her health. Now we have somebody here who makes a main dish for us every week. Somebody who does, that's not her job. That's not, she's on the board. She's the treasurer. That's her job. And even that's a volunteer job, as they all are. But she, out of goodness of her heart, makes us a main dish month, every week, every Sunday. And that's Betty. That's our Betty Martin. Let the Zoom, let, and she made this beautiful altar too. That's right. Um, Now there's somebody here too that does something else. I don't know if it's your job or not, but Jeff, every time we have our Zoom, and that's made possible by our tech team, Randall, Betty, and Jeff, um, stays after to make sure that anybody on Zoom that wants to talk, that we know to go and talk to them. And then he puts it all away. And even though we've all gone to go eat Betty's food, he, he stays and he gets it all taken care of. And there's somebody here today that I know is probably the one of the best mommy dog people in on the planet, whose heart is so filled with overflowing love. And Fran, that is just such a beautiful gift and such a testimony to love. And then I got to call out one more person. He's not here. That's my husband. Uh, I could talk the whole rest of the day on all things he's done for me, but I wanted to take one in particular. My sisters-in-law, Lynn and Eileen, his sisters, gave me some. Oh gosh, they're not called bulbs. Iris have. Oh, they have something like bulbs. Anyway, and the irises. It was coming up to be spring, and they came up, and then the iris bloomed. And the first day the iris bloomed, I came out and there was one iris snipped right off at the flower. You couldn't even then go put it in a vase, lying right next to the iris plant. And I came in crying to Jim, and he made this little sign. It's little, But he put it out there and he said, please do not take the flowers. My wife cries when you do this. They are for the enjoyment of those who pass by, perhaps to brighten someone's day. Thank you, the iris owners. And no one ever took one again. So I just want to say here that I don't know how we have the courage and stamina and heart to do all these difficult things. I don't know how it is that we exactly are able to do it. But I do know that there is within each of us, there's this powerful, um, Thich Nhat Hanh would call it the mindfulness mommy. There's the part of us that's loving and caring and is able to protect us. And there's the part of us that's vulnerable, the little baby part that can easily be wounded. And so that mommy part is there. And that as much as we can, we want to be able to allow our little vulnerable heart to be able to be open, but knowing that we have this powerful mothering, nurturing energy within us, that seed is there and that we water it. Thich Nhat Hanh said to be awake is to be aware, aware of what's going on in our bodies, in our mind, in our heart, in our spirit, and what is going on in the world. What's going on that's good and what's going on that's not so good. But it's important to be aware of what's not so good so that we can change it, stop it, transform it, or make peace with it, whatever is called for. And that we absolutely need to every day nourish the seeds of our own happiness. So he says, today as I walked to the whatever it was, the ashram, the dojo, whatever he goes to, he said, I walked and I noticed that the sun, even whether we see it or we don't, is holding our earth, giving us life. I noticed that the sky is there making space for us, giving us the air we need. He says, I make gentle steps on the earth, knowing that the earth, our mother, is still there. And I nourished in myself the seeds of my own happiness. And he said, every day we need to nourish the seeds of our own happiness so that we can water the seeds of happiness in each other. And that's what it means to follow your heart. Ashe, thank you.